Hey Queen, so you can see by the shirt and the thumbnail and such that your daddy wanna take me shopping. So today's video is gonna be different. I'm gonna talk about how to find a sugar daddy and kind of share some sugar daddy stories with you. Now, um, let's see. I started like hitchhiking to school in I think it was middle school, honestly. Not really through high school, no, because high school is too far. So if you're wondering what this whole outfit is, I'm basically channeling Amber Rose right now. And, I have all my rings, etc., etc. And I also have my Lady Gaga sunglasses and my Swarovski necklace because, why not? You gotta dress the part. So in middle school, I would hitchhike to middle school because it was kind of a 30-minute walk in the morning and in the afternoons. Now, here in Texas, it's usually warm, it's usually hot, sometimes it's humid if it rains, but when it gets cold, it kind of does get cold. And sometimes there is like frost on like the rooftops and such. And my parents hated me, so they would make me walk to school sometimes, or they would make me walk home. Now, my elementary school is like right next to the apartments that we would live in and stuff like that, so that was easier. For middle school, it was such a bitch. And I think I think it was probably seventh grade that I started. Because sixth grade was like, okay. And what I hated was that, like, okay, like my brother, like even in high school, like they would take him to school, and like me, like I'd have to take the bus, or I'd have to drive myself, or like I'd have to figure out a way to get to school. And usually it was friends. I wouldn't hitchhike anymore. So middle school, obviously, I was hitchhiking to middle school basically a good chunk of the time. I used to carpool with a friend, but like if that friend couldn't like pick me up for whatever reason, then like hi, like I would just stick my thumb out and be like, hey, can you take me to school? So I remember the first instance, I think I was walking back, it was way too hot. And like in my mind, I was like, I cannot do this because we had early release days. And at that time, we were kind of more broke than we are now and stuff. I've come a long way. I've come a long way financially and stuff. So there was that. And I think the other time that that happened, when I was like, okay, it's way too hot. I think I was halfway, and there's like a Churches on the corner or something like that, and I just asked someone at the gas station, like some random guy, and this is so dangerous. I really don't recommend doing this. If you feel like it, I mean, that is your issue, that is your problem. But coming from someone like me, don't hitchhike, especially if you're in middle school. Like there is a lot of things that could have happened to me, and a lot of things that could still happen from hitchhiking. So just don't do it. Just don't get in cars with strangers. I know that sounds so like common sense, but hey, I'm fat. It was hot out. I don't want to sweat. Okay, so that was that. And I was just like, hey, can you take me for a ride and stuff? He's like, yeah, of course. And like he was kind of like those like weird like white people, and I was just like, obviously I could have been overpowered or anything, if anything would have went down. But I was just like, you know what, like it's air conditioned ride. Why not just take the ride home? So that happened and stuff, and I got home, and I guess another thing is that also like they know where you live if they take you home, and I guess the only good thing about that apartment was like they couldn't go in, so I would have to go in through the office, and like to kind of like set them off. Like we lived in like the back part, and then eventually moved to the front part of the apartments, which was like a bigger apartment, like a 3 bedroom and stuff. So, that was okay, I guess, but still, it's kind of dangerous knowing that someone probably knows where you live. I mean, even if it's just the area and they don't know, like, where exactly you live, like, what room number, et cetera, like, it's still kind of, shady or, like, dangerous. So, that would happen. And then I know one time in the morning, it was really fucking cold. I think it was like 20 degrees. It was like pretty cold that morning, and like I had to walk, and I was gonna be late. So I think class started in middle school. I want to say 8:30, but I could be totally wrong there. I honestly don't remember. But it started, it was gonna start soon, basically. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be late if I walk. Like I'm not gonna make it. It's cold, and like when you start like breathing in really deep, was like you're like trying to fast or pace walk really fast, run walk. You know what I mean? That happens and stuff, and I'm just trying to adjust my shirt so you can like still see it. So I was just like, ugh, and then I saw a car parked there, so I asked this random lady. I was like, hey, can you take me to school? Like, I'm gonna be late and stuff like that. Like, I was so bold as a child. Like, I'm so surprised, like, nothing like John Bonet happened to me or anything like that. Not that anybody would care if I died, but And I was just like, hey, can you, like, take me to school? Because I'm like, I'm gonna be late. And she was the only one that had some, like, precaution and, like, taking me in her car. And she's like, are your parents gonna be okay with this? Like, she was like, am I gonna get in trouble? Is there, like, cops or something? Like, I guess she thought she was on something, like, um, I want to say 60 minutes, but I don't think it's 60 minutes. But you know that show where like they like bait people and like they arrest them? Like I think that's what she thought I was. Like I was like the bait or something. Like I don't know. And she's like, "Am I gonna get in trouble? Am I gonna get?" And I was just like, "No." I'm like, "My parents are totally okay with this. Like they said you could, as if my parents know her." And then she's just like, "Okay." She's like, "I'll take you to school." And I'm just like, "I'm gonna be like so late." And that's why again I say, don't get in car with strangers. And also, I was so bold. Like I was just going up to random strangers in their car and being like, "Hey, can you take me to school? Like I'm gonna be late." Like who does that? Especially well, no, especially in this day and age, because I think I was still going to school, middle school. I think 2010. I think so. Something like that. I know Born This Way was coming out and I was like in high school, but like it had already been out. So, something like that. So I was just like, hey, and stuff. And she took me and stuff. And then like on the way back, I was like, man, I was like, I don't want to walk back. So I was just like walking around. There was a CVS and stuff. And sometimes my dad would wait there once in a while to like bring me back home and stuff. But like sometimes he wouldn't. So, I had to be resourceful. So there was like random guys that would go into like CVS and like buy beers or buy cigarettes or, buy whatever they buy during, I guess, the time we got out, which I think we would get out in like 3:40 or something like that. It was like close to 4, but it wasn't 4. So, that would happen and stuff. And I just remember asking like these random like young guys, like, hey, can you like take me home? Because like it's hot out and I don't want to like walk home. Because I'm like, I live pretty far from here. I'm like, it was a long walk and like blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, oh, yeah, sure. But it's like those people that like, you can tell like something's like a little like weird about them and stuff like that. So you're just like, I don't know. So they would take me home and stuff like that. And like, again, like it's very dangerous, like knowing. I mean, obviously, in that moment I knew, but you're just, it's whatever. It happened, it's over, it's canceled, we're moving on. So that would happen and stuff like that. And then I think that just was like a consistent pattern throughout, like, I think 8th grade and stuff. And then that is like one way to really pick up a sugar daddy, especially if you're like in the business district of your downtown area. Or if you're probably somewhere in New York, I'm pretty sure that can happen. I remember Charles Gross saying he had like a video like that or something. And obviously there's no millionaires here like there is in New York. So I mean, you can take what you get, just you can buy a Swarovski necklace every day, why not? Obviously, I'd want to buy Versace jewelry, but there's no one rich like that here. So, fast forward to high school and stuff. So, like my hitchhiking days were over, I thought. But more or less they were, and I would have to take the bus. Now, my parents would kind of assume, like, okay, you're taking the bus, like, we're all not home at the same time, you can walk back. Now, what I didn't know was that my bus stop was supposed to be further down the street, but my bus driver was like lazy or something, so he wouldn't want to like drop me off and stuff. So I was like so far than I had to really be, like I think it was a good 20-minute walk, and that is still kind of far, and you're just like, well, what the hell? Because I'd be like, you can't like drop me off like way more down the street, or like like basically closer to home, not exactly like my front door, so to speak, but like, I was still living in apartments. So I was just like, you can't like drop me down. He's like, no, like, sorry. Like, like people do that, like, no, haha. And they like laugh a bit. So like, I was just like, okay, bitch, like, I'm gonna be walking like a long ass time. So that's the problem. So that happened and stuff. And I was just like, okay, you know what? So there'd be like random guys that'll be there and stuff like that. And I remember just asking for rides. And sometimes there were other high schoolers and such. But sometimes they're like, like 30, 40-year-old men, or sometimes older. So I was just like, hey, like, can you give me a ride? Like, I live like down the street or something, not really, but And then like you just make small conversation with them. And I found out one of them was like divorced and stuff, and like he had a good job and everything like that. And I was just like, in my mind, I was like, okay, this is like a pretty nice-ish car. Like, it's kind of like if you had like a, what can I say? Like, let's say like a Ford, I want to say Flex, but I know it's not Flex. It's like that one that looks like a Ford Excursion, but I can't think of the name right now. And it's like around 50,000 or 40,000, I think, especially around that time. So it's kind of like if you had one of those with like leather seats and stuff, like, like it's a nice-ish car. Like it's not like, like something like a Maserati or like a Ferrari or something like that, but it's like nice, like you can tell there's some money in order to buy it. It's like if you bought like, I guess, the basic Range Rover, like, like you spend a good amount of money, like it's not like the luxury Range Rover, but it's still like a Range Rover, saying like, this person has somewhat decent money in order to buy that car. So I was just like, wow, this is like a really nice car and stuff. And then he's like, yeah, I'm divorced and I have like 2 kids, but like, they're in college and stuff. In my mind, I was like, okay, like what can I do? Like, because at that time I was like really big into buying fragrances, and I was really kind of starting jewelry very slowly. somewhat sunglasses and like music and concerts and stuff. So if you've always wondered how I've went to a lot of concerts, that is kind of how I supplemented my concert thing. So I'll just have like random guys like buy me concert tickets and stuff like that. So I was very resourceful in that sense. And it was fun and stuff like that. I haven't gone to concerts in a while besides the Carly Rae Jepsen one. So, that is another way to get a sugar daddy. You just keep, hitchhiking, and you just make small talk. You find out who they are. You kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I like, for me, like fragrances. So like, hey, like I really like this fragrance. Like it's really expensive. Buy it for me. You can exchange numbers. Now I've never changed my number since. I think I've had my phone since maybe third or fourth grade. I think earlier, but like when I like actually started like texting and stuff, I actually would like take it to school. So that's probably why. And like you can exchange numbers and stuff. I mean, sometimes it won't stop bothering you, but eventually you can just hit them with like the new number who this or like like this isn't so and so. Like if you're trying to reach someone and stuff like that. So like if they have your number, sometimes they can like trace you or whatever. Like hi, Mr. Robot. So that could happen and stuff like that. So I wouldn't advise really giving out your number unless you probably have like one of those like track phones or something like that. Sorry, I'm like still trying to fix my shirt. So me, like I've never changed my number again, as repetitive as I am, but like I just, kind of went with the flow, so to speak. I was just like, like whatever, like what's the worst that can happen? I mean, hi, I've seen a lot of Lifetime movies, and that Halle Berry movie, like a lot of shit can go down. So again, that is another way. You just talk to them and you just like tell them to buy you stuff that you really like. Again, I went to a lot of concerts and stuff like that, and I've bought a lot of fragrances. I have like over 200 fragrances, and some of them are still from that time that I haven't finished. Of course, you're probably like, have they spoiled it? No, not really, because I take good care of them. I keep them out of the sun. It's pretty cold in my room and stuff like that. So, I kind of, the longevity is there. And also, I would buy like a lot of the same fragrance because I was like, oh my God, I really like this fragrance. Oh my God, like you're so nice, blah, blah, blah. So, that would happen and stuff like that. And then moving on, I think I would just start asking random people to take me to lunch sometimes. Like, so like I didn't have a car I think until my junior year. I think it was like the end of my junior year when I like finished driving school. So what I would do is like if I would go to Target and stuff like that, and like friends couldn't bring me back home, like I would just tell my parents like yeah, like so and so brought me back home, like another friend or whatever that we were with, or like yeah they brought me off and then like they left. But in all reality, like I would just like wait and see like random like dads there or something and be like, your daddy want to take me shopping at Target or something, and I just be like, yeah, like, hey, can you give me a ride? Like, I live like over here, like it's not that far and stuff, and they were just like, oh, like, yeah, sure. And like again, I would wear like a lot of fragrances. Some fragrances I do recommend is Lady Gaga's Fame. She was right about that one. I'm like looking around. I think Sofia Vergara's signature fragrance. I know Taylor Swift's Wonderstruck. The True Reflection by Kim Kardashian. I don't know if I said that. And I think Beyonce's Heat were the ones that kind of like more people were like drawn to actually like wanting to listen to you. Like I guess they like the scent and stuff like that. And of course, like I would put on like the body lotions and stuff like this and stuff. I was very fragrant, so they were more open, I guess, because they had like a familiar smell or whatever. Something like that. A scent that was very inviting, so to speak. So I would just be like, oh yeah, like I live over here. And again, like at this time, I was living in a house. We had just moved and stuff. And the only good thing was that our house didn't appear like on Google Maps. And I know that because a lot of friends couldn't find me and stuff like that, and I just have to kind of like by ear be like, okay, like you go through here and try to take this, and it is very confusing to get to my house if you don't really know who I am. And now that there's like a lot of construction, a lot of things has changed in just 2 years. There are more apartments, there are more stores, there are more. There's just a lot, and it's kind of annoying because we were very isolated. But now there's like a lot of stuff, that's called urbanization, I think. So that happened and stuff, and I just be like, yeah, like you go through here, and like a lot of times they get scared because they didn't know where I was taking them, but of course they're the ones who are driving me, so I could be like, oh my God, like it's so dark and like it's so woody. And I remember one time my friends were dropping me off, they're like, where the hell do you live? Like it was so dark and there's like so many trees and stuff, like there's deer, and like now, like there's not as much, but there's something. And of course like they'd be like, oh, like where are we going and stuff. I guess they thought I was gonna murder them, but like it'd be the other way because like, hi, I'm in your car. So that's another way. And like they drop you off and then you make small talk in the car, like, oh well, like who are you and blah blah blah, and like like I do YouTube at that time. As like again, like I was very 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 bold and very, I guess, careless. So again, I don't really recommend doing this, especially if you're not like me or whatever, or like Amber Rose or something. You're not a tough bitch. Don't do it. So that happened and everything like that. And then I think fast forward now to college again. How to get a sugar daddy is you basically got to hitchhike and just make small talk. And basically just kind of be interested in who they are. I mean, of course, I would take a genuine interest in who they are, but like if you're not, just try to give off that perfect illusion like Lady Gaga. So now in college, I started going to Neiman Marcus a lot, and they have this restaurant. I think it's called Mariposa. It's basically butterfly. Like the butterfly room or lounge. I really don't know. But they have that there. So I always go, and it's like the fancy mall here, I think. And we have a Saks Fifth Avenue at another mall. And like basically you go there and there are like, like rich people shopping there. Of course there's a lot of old ladies and stuff, but sometimes there's a lot of older men with a lot of money. And sometimes they don't have really anyone, so they just, I guess, go there and try to look for another older lady to be with. So, I would go to the restaurant, there's a bar and stuff, I would just like sit there and be like, oh hi, like let me have a sandwich or something, and I'll take my time eating and I'd be doing random things there. And I would just wait, and I kind of like scout around. Sometimes there's like new money where it's like, there's like 25-year-old guys and stuff like this or whatever, like, 30-ish, and you're just like, I don't really want to play games, nothing up the asshole. So, again, like, you can be that kind of like sugar baby that can have sex. I've never done that before. Like, I'm just there, like they say, like an escort. Like, I'm just passing the time with you, so to speak. So, I would just, again, sit there, have my lunch and just wait. Just scout and be like, like, who looks like they want to take me shopping? So, of course, a lot of people would be like, how do you get so many sunglasses? How do you get so much jewelry? Again, that is another way. I started off with fragrances and stuff and, like some jewelry, and now it's like a lot of stuff aside from layaway at Sears and stuff, but, like supplementing that, random pieces I come home with, like, oh my god, I bought this, like, someone else bought it for me. So, there was, and I'm always kind of mad that I never, like, got them to buy me a Chanel bag, but I felt like that was digging in too far, like, like, I was just like, is that too much? Like, I mean, I thought I would really use it, but, like, like, it'd be nice to be like, hey, like, I got a Chanel bag. So, again, Neiman Marcus, you go to, like, the little thing, or they have something, or, like, a fancy, like, restaurant in, like, a really rich part of town. Now, I found out other parts of San Antonio, so, like, there I'm going now. So, that happened, and then, like, like, I'd find, like, random dads and stuff, like, 40, 50-year-old men and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, hi, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Or, like, if they'd be alone, like, I'd be like, oh, hi, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. Or, like, I'd be like, oh, hey, like, how do you know what's good here? Or, like, after my fat ass just ate. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then, that begins small talk again. So you want to always engage in conversation and be like, hi, who are you, basically, blah, blah, blah. This is what I do. What do you do? Oh, I'm a college student, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes, they can pay, like, your tuition. I know people do that. That's why people get sugar daddies, but, it works. Like, if, why spend mine when I can spend yours, like the song says. And, again, you just keep, again, talking. Figure out who they are. Then you see how they're dressed, see what jewelry they have, like a watch or something, see if they have a Rolex, because there's like a Rolex store there and stuff like that. So you're just like, I'm the kind of person who's like, like, what are they wearing? Like, what is on their wrist? Do they have a ring if they're divorced or anything like that? Like, how many kids do they got? So, what kind of trouble you're getting yourself into. So it's all those things like that you also got to take into consideration aside from like the safety factor, because of course, like, what if they follow me to my car and I just get like attacked and robbed, like it's a Lifetime movie. I mean, if I died, a lot of people would say thank God, and some of them would cry over me, but I mean, they get over it like the next day. So I don't know, like basically I guess how to get a sugar daddy, and like half of my sugar daddy stories in a very, very condensed form as fast as I'm talking is basically just hitchhike the hell out of anyone you can find, talk to them, more or less find out if they're divorced and their kids are older, because that's like less trouble. You probably don't want to have them taking you home exactly, but I mean, if you're brave enough, like I was and still am, just I guess do it. Trying to make them buy you stuff that you want, and I guess do try to take a very genuine interest, but don't get attached. Of course, if you want to have sex with them, have sex with them. But if you don't. I mean, there's a lot of STDs out there, so if you do, just be safe. I've never done that. I'm just there to pass the time, like that kind of escort and stuff like that. So again, I mean, just do what you gotta do. I mean, it's a rough life out there. I mean, if you can find someone money who can buy you stuff and pay your tuition and pay your bills, I mean, why not? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, as I see, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you can do it, just do it. So, I mean, that is, like, a little bit about it. If you want more and stuff like that, I mean, I guess I could share more in-depth stories, but I really can't remember them right now in this moment. But, of course, if you will ask for them, I mean, I will tell you. So again, that was like my like how to get sugar daddy / mini condensed sugar daddy form example story. I really don't know what this is, but I really hope you like this video, and obviously this whole video is fake. I really don't do this, but if you want me to like keep leaving this on, of course I'll do it. So of course I've never had a sugar daddy. I just thought this would be a fun idea. But anywho, I want to say hi to Rami Malek, my real sugar daddy. Stay safe and God bless, and just remember your daddy want to take me shopping. So hi Rami Malek, I'm ready for you to take me shopping.